All right, Wizards, I wanted to go over this stuff that we went over in class today just quickly. It has some important information, and you'll need it for the unit test on Friday. So question 34 about stop signs. Again, we have to identify what our null hypothesis is and what our alternate hypothesis is. Our null hypothesis is always about nothing changing, everything staying the same. So in this case, the reflectivity of the signs has not changed. It is no different than the way it has been. The alternate hypothesis is that the reflectivity has increased. These new signs are better. A type 1 error would be thinking that the reflectivity has increased, thinking the signs are better, when in fact they aren't any better. And a type 2 error would be thinking that the reflectivity has not increased, when actually it has. So thinking that the new signs aren't any better, when in fact they are. And the power of this test is the ability to correctly detect when the new signs are better, when the reflectivity has actually increased. The next problem that we discussed today in class was question number 23 about the loans. And this is in two parts. So in 23, again, our null hypothesis is that the people applying for the loan, they can actually repay the loan. And the alternate is that they don't repay the loan. And so a type 1 error in this case is when you deny a loan to someone who can actually repay the loan. So again, a type 1 error can only occur when you reject the null hypothesis. So a type 1 error is when you think the alternate is the case when actually it's the null. A type 2 error is when you give a loan to somebody who ends up defaulting on the loan. So again, a type 2 can only occur when you fail to reject the null hypothesis. So you believe that person can repay the loan when in fact they don't repay the loan. So those are the type 1 and type 2 errors. And in this case, the power of the test is the ability to correctly deny a loan to those who can't repay it. And a quick reminder about power, if you increase the alpha level of your test, the power of the test increases. If you increase your sample size in the test, the power of the test increases. And likewise, it also works in the other direction. If my alpha level goes down, the power goes down. If my sample size goes down, the power goes down. And those are the things that you would need to know how to change for the AP test. And then the last thing was question 27 on homeowners. And a little bit of confusion. Was this actually about home ownership or was it about tax breaks? And this question is about tax breaks and whether or not tax breaks work. And we're measuring the success or lack of success in terms of home ownership rates. So our null hypothesis in this situation is that the tax breaks do not work. Tax breaks don't increase anything. Tax breaks do nothing. That's our null hypothesis. The alternate hypothesis is that the tax breaks do work. So a type 1 error would be thinking that the tax breaks work when in fact they don't work. In other words, you reject the null hypothesis in favor of the alternate, and it turns out the null hypothesis was actually true. A type 2 error is thinking that tax breaks don't work when in fact they do work. And the power of the test is the ability to correctly detect when the tax breaks are actually working. So those are the things we went over today in class. Again, you'll need to know how to put type 1 and type 2 errors in context as well as power in context. And you'll get a chance to practice that tomorrow, and I'll provide feedback for you tomorrow. But that's that. I hope this has been helpful.